Hi, Attorney Rob Wells here with you from the Law Office of Robert M. Wells. Our office specializes in landlord and tenant issues within the Solano County area, which is in the San Francisco Bay Area. In this video, I'm going to talk about tenants violating their rental agreements and what you as a landlord can do to stop rental agreement violations. I bring this topic up because I've gotten a number of questions this week about this very issue. What do you do when your tenant's not doing something that's required under the lease or is violating the lease other than, not paying the rent and so forth? And my short answer to this is basically details and documentation. That is key. Okay, so anytime you have an issue where someone is not following a rental agreement, you can use what is called a 3-day notice to perform or quit, meaning it's basically a notice that tells a tenant or resident, hey, you're violating some term of the rental agreement and I need you to comply with the rental agreement, or else, if not, you'll be facing an eviction action. And where landlords get into trouble with this is they're kind of vague with the details, or the details aren't there, especially on a notice. And in this environment where there are COVID-19 protections and so forth, details are key, and documentation of the issue is key. So for example, if you have a no smoking policy listed on a rental agreement, it is not enough to say, hey, tenant, I saw you smoking on a 3-day notice. That's not going to fly. What needs to happen is on the notice, it needs to state, hey, tenant, paragraph number 1 of your rental agreement states that you cannot smoke any substance. Okay? Doesn't matter what it is, any substance. And on this date, we saw you on March 1st of 2021 at approximately 2 o'clock. We saw someone from the premises smoking cigarettes right in your unit. Or if it's the tenant, you name the tenant on there. And the solution on the notice needs to be, you need to tell the tenant what they need to do. So in this case, it's going to be to comply with your rental agreement. You need to stop smoking. Please stop smoking immediately. And if the tenant fails to not, comply with the notice, they could be subject to an eviction. Now, note that, a court is not going to evict a tenant on a trivial or minor breach. It has to be pretty significant. And in this case, smoking is a significant breach. It has health effects or secondhand smoke issues with other residents. Also, too, smoking can cause a lot of damage as well, too, to a unit. So this is a significant issue. Things, that might be, trivial, that type of deal. You got to remember, you're asking a judge to, take someone's housing away. So it has to be a pretty significant deal. Now, I'll tell you this. If you're going through one of these situations where there are problems at a home, you need to consult professional legal personnel that will give you advice and to review your lease and to make sure everything is being done in compliance with the law. Because nowadays, first off, evictions are super technical to begin with. If you mess one thing up, usually the case gets thrown out in court. And second, you want to make sure that whatever the breach is actionable. It's something that we can address in court. Formally doing a 3-day notice to perform should only be used when you've exhausted all your other options. Usually a better approach is writing a tenant a letter or just talking to your tenants directly about what's being violated, depending on the severity of the issue. If you're going through one of these situations and you need help, please feel free to give us a call. We'll give you an evaluation of what's going on and what our thoughts are about how you best can address your situation. because these things can be super technical and they could be kind of gray areas where, it can go either way depending on the circumstances of the matter. So hopefully this video does help out someone in a way about preparing to deal with a tenant issue with complying with a rental agreement. And again, last thing, if you take away from all this, it's details, and documentation. Look, if the details aren't there and you don't have anything documentation backing the issue up, it's going to be a hard sell in court. So again, if you need us, we're here for you. Hopefully this is helpful. And until next time, we'll see you then. Thanks.